Hi, very good morning. I'm Dr. Janak Patel. Today I'm going to discuss one very useful topic which you will come across in your everyday practice. And I'm sure that at the end of this lecture, you will get that particular thing. So we are going to discuss today regarding what we call as a headache. Headache is also called cephalgia, and it will be present almost in majority of the people, and you must have experienced this in your lifetime. So we call headache or cephalgia. We'll be discussing under the different heading: definition, etiology, pathophysiology, clinical features, investigations, differential diagnosis, treatment and complications. You know, anyone, doctor or a rich person can also have a headache, and you can see that even he can have a headache. Yes, these are the four famous people which you know very well. He always gets headache, while this is a person who gives headache. This is another person who has always have a headache. Well, this person, he says that what is headache? So by definition, headache means pain in the cranial region, or we call it as in the head region. Now, by classification, headache can be classified into primary, we call it as idiopathic, where the exact cause is not known, or secondary, we call symptomatic. Or we can classify according to the duration or timings. We call acute headache, chronic headache, recurrent headache. According to etiology, which is inside the cranial cavity, we call intracranial causes. Or if the cause is outside the cranial cavity, we call as extracranial causes. Depending upon the severity, mild, moderate and severe. But this particular thing can change depending upon the person to person. And depending upon the site, focal, generalized, referred pain, or there's a one word utilized is hemicrania, which is very common in migraine. Etiology wise, we say primary, which is almost accounting for 90% or even more than 90%. It is also called as a functional or it is recurrent headache. And classical example of a primary is migraine, cluster headache, tension headaches, and other varieties. While in secondary, we also call that as organic, which can be intracranial, extracranial, which can be because of infection, trauma, vascular, tumor, intracranial pressure, and miscellaneous. In primary, we come across three classical variety: migraine headache, cluster headache, tension headache. While other which are put into primary groups, we call as a pre-orgasm, orgasmic, primary thunderclap headache, hypnic headache, and new daily persistent headache. There are other which are also put into primary headache syndromes, particularly persistent daily headache, then trigeminal neuralgia, atypical facial pain, and benign paroxysmal headaches. But you will come across most common is migraine, cluster headache, and tension headache. According to the International Classification of Headache, primary headache is recurrent headache where they put three classical: migraine, tension, and cluster headache, and other they say trigeminal neuralgia and other primary headaches. While in secondary headache, post-traumatic, vascular disorders, non-vascular disorders, abuse of drugs, withdrawal of drugs, particularly alcohol, infection, disorder of homeostasis, facial or cranial structure disorders, and psychiatric disorders. While they have got one separate group, we call cranial neuralgia, particularly they are put into a separate group. This is according to the International Classification of Headache. Secondary headache, we classify into two big groups, intracranial and extracranial, and they put another which does not fit with intracranial or does not fit properly with the extracranial, we call miscellaneous group. In intracranial, infections, common infection, bacterial meningitis, tubercular meningitis, viral encephalitis. In trauma, we call head injury or we call traumatic brain injury. In vascular, we have got migraine, subarachnoid hemorrhage, intracranial hemorrhage. It can be secondary due to hypertension, we call hypertensive encephalopathy. And even a plain simple hypertension can also produce an occipital headache. In case of a temporal artery inflammation, which is called giant cell arteritis, which is called temporal arteritis, tumor can be benign or can be malignant. Benign tumors are meningiomas, while malignant tumor, primary tumor arising from the brain, we call gliomas, while secondary tumor we call metastasis. According to intracranial pressure, high intracranial pressure can produce headache and even a low pressure can produce a headache. And even sometime in a normal pressure, hydrocephalus also you can have a headache. And in miscellaneous group, hydrocephalus. In extracranial group, eye, classical glaucoma, infections, conjunctivitis, panophthalmitis, iritis, iridocyclitis, etc. Visual error like myopia, presbyopia, hypermetropia, etc. And sometime even retinal tumors, retinoblastoma. Ear, particularly otitis externa, otitis media, acute or chronic, and ear tumor like cholesteatoma. Sinus, we call different sinus infections. We have got a three common sinus: maxillary sinus, ethmoidal sinus, and paranasal sinuses. We can get sinusitis, or you can have a malignant tumor of this sinus, maxillary, ethmoidal, or frontal sinus tumors. Among dental abscess, or we call as dental infections, or alveolar abscess. General causes like high-grade fever, hyperpyrexia, hypothermia, anxiety, and even in case of a hypertension, hysterical person can have a chronic headache, and in psychiatric disorder, hysteria, anxiety, and other psychogenic disorders. Drugs like nitroglycerin, calcium channel blockers, alcohol, and other miscellaneous drugs can also produce headache. You can have a referred pain to the head region in case of a cervical spine, particularly osteoarthritis or spondylitis. In case of a trigeminal neuralgia also, you can have a severe headache which will be referred to different parts of the face and in the half of the face. In ear also, you can have a radiation in a nearby area, particularly in case of an otitis media or otitis externa. Even in sinus infection also, you can have a referred pain in the surrounding region. Even dental and eye also, in eye it will be periorbital region, in a dental around the maxilla. There are other headaches we call as a odd groups, which usually you don't come across, like a person who is wearing goggles for a long period of time and a tight goggles, or while taking a cold water or diving into a cold water. Ice cream headache, you can have hot dog headaches, hangover headaches, particularly after taking certain drugs, particularly to acetates. Fasting person can also get headache, or after getting exertion can have a headache. These are some of the non-serious headaches like post-herpetic neuralgia, occipital neuralgia, cervicogenic headaches, rebound headache after withdrawal of the analgesic, temporomandibular joint dysfunction, sinusitis, low pressure headaches following a lumbar puncture, etc. Among the percentage wise, if you see in this, the primary headaches are more common as compared to the secondary headache. It is almost accounting for 95% of the people. And out of that primary headache, tension headache is accounting more common, which is almost 70%. And migraine is accounting for 15 to 20%. And cluster headache is very small group, which is almost 0.1%. While among the secondary headaches, systemic infection is accounting for the most common groups, which is almost 63%, and head injury accounts for 4%. Subarachnoid hemorrhage is less than 1%, and brain tumor is 0.1%. There are some life-threatening headaches which are very risky and can produce high mortality, like intracranial hemorrhage, which can be subarachnoid hemorrhage, subdural hemorrhage, meningitis, and hypertensive encephalopathy. This should be identified early and treated early. These are all secondary causes of headache. Among the pathophysiology, if you come across, the person will get a headache because of the pain sensitive structures which are involved in different etiology. Like there are pain sensitive structure, artery which will be involved in migraine, bone erosion by tumors, venous sinus will be affected in case of intracranial pressure, cranial nerves will be affected in trigeminal neuralgia, or you can sometimes have a glossopharyngeal neuralgia also. Meningitis will irritate the dura mater or meninges, and that will produce headache. Preferred pain is because of the compression of the cervical nerves at the level of the cervical spine, mainly C1, C2. Sinus mucosa can be inflamed and can produce a headache. Teeth involvement, that is the dental roots, which when they are involved, that can give rise to headache. The most important part, that the brain is insensitive. So involvement of the brain does not give rise to headache. While you are investigation for the headache, headache is a symptom, so you will have to take a good history, and in a history, onset, site, character, duration, frequency, diurnal pattern, associated symptoms, aggravating factor, relieving factor, and relieved by any specific treatment or any specific other characteristics. This must be taken, and it gives almost 95 to 100% of the ideas regarding the cause of headache. There is another method we call as a Socratic, that is S for site, O for onset, C for character, R for radiation, A for associated symptom, T for timing, E for exaggerating factors or relieving factors, and S for severity and state between the attacks. This is one method of taking a headache history. Irrespective of which technique you use, history examination should be followed by investigation. Investigation are mainly required to differentiate primary from secondary. Otherwise, history alone is adequate enough to identify the exact cause. That's why it is said that the most important investigation is the evaluation of the headache history. And to differentiate between the primary and secondary, you need history, history, and history. So, accurate history and focused physical examination gives you almost the answer. So this is a small chart which tells you regarding how you approach to a headache. I am not going into detail regarding this. So at your leisure time, you can have a pause at this particular slide and you can go through, because we are going to discuss in the successive slides. So whenever you take a history, take a good detailed history, have a good physical examination, have a good neurological examination, take blood pressure and fundus examination and eye examination, which almost gives you a good answer. And look for SNOOP. We'll be showing you a slide in the next few slides. And that gives you a red flag signs. Red flag signs are to differentiate secondary from primary. If there are atypical features, you have to go for a secondary headache groups and go for the diagnostic testing. And if the criteria is not met with SNOOP, then you can decide regarding a primary headache, which can be migraine, cluster, tension type of headache, or other non-specific headaches. Primary headache has got a certain characteristics. They are usually recurrent. Very rarely they are continuous headaches. In between the headache, almost the patient is symptom free. There is no localizing sign. No organic causes are identifiable, and it is non-progressive, or we call there is no progress. Meaning of no localizing sign means person do not have any neurological symptoms and signs like cranial nerve palsy, motor weakness, sensory symptoms and signs, seizures, etc., which are characteristics in the secondary headache. So person will have a usually persistent headache. There is always a localizing sign. Invariably you will be able to identify the organic cause, or you will be able to identify the etiology, which can be intracranial or extracranial. It is usually progressive, and in a CNS, when you examine, there is a localizing sign in the form of altered level of consciousness, meningeal signs, seizures, motor or sensory symptoms and signs, motor weakness and sensory symptoms and signs, cranial nerve pulses, raised intracranial pressure. When you go through the SNOOP, SNOOP means S for systemic symptoms like fever and weight loss, S for secondary risk factors like systemic cancer or HIV if the person is having, and for neurological symptoms and signs, abnormal signs like confusion, impaired level of consciousness or altered level of consciousness, O for onset, sudden onset, abrupt onset, or in a split second. O for older, new onset or progressive headache, especially if after the age of 50 years, a person can have a giant cell arthritis. And P for a previous history of headache. Now, if the person is getting a first headache for the first time and it is very severe, frequency is increasing, severity is increasing, and there is associated with another clinical features, you must suspect a red flag signs. There are good number of red flag signs like if the person is having a worst headache ever he had in his lifetime, and first headache is of a very severe headache, subacute worsening over days and weeks, abnormal neurological examinations, fever or unexplained systemic signs, vomiting that precedes the headache, pain includes induced by bending or lifting or cupping, which is because of a raised intracranial pressure. Pain disturbs the sleeps or presents immediately upon wakening, or person is having a thunderclap headache or a sudden and serious. There is a known systemic illness like malignancy, hypertension, etc. Onset after the first headache onset after the age of 55. Pain associated with local tenderness, particularly over temporal arthritis, etc. These all are red flag signs, which tells you that this is secondary headaches. And there is a big list: headache after neck injury or head injury, new onset type of a headache, new level of pain, worsening, headache, abrupt split second onset, triggered by Valsalva maneuver or cough, triggered by exertion, triggered by sexual activity, headache during pregnancy or puerperium, age more than 50, neurological symptoms and signs, systemic illness like fever, neck rigidity, weight loss, or temporal artery tenderness, and person has got a prior history of malignancy, immunocompromised host, or a recent travel to an area where they can get other secondary infections. While you go through the history, site. If a person is having a periorbital pain, it is usually the eye etiology. If it is around the ear, it is a ear etiology. If it is around the sinus area, particularly maxillary bone, or in the center, frontal sinus, ethmoidal sinus. In the maxillary bone, mandibular bone, dental. In a frontal region, most commonly frontal sinusitis. If a person is complaining in an occipital region, it is very commonly because of hypertension. Unilateral headache is very common in migraine. If the person is complaining of a central headache, it is very commonly because of raised intracranial pressure. And bitemporal headache is very common in a tension headache. And if the person is complaining of a vague headache, it is very common in psychiatric disorders. If it is because of a short duration, it is usually because of infection, trauma, or vascular, or we call it the acute onset. It is usually because of infection, trauma, or vascular. If it is a long duration, tubercular meningitis, tumor, and anxiety, or we call psychiatric disorders, hysterical. Short and recurrent is very common in migraine. Characteristics: if it is a dull headache, it is usually common in tension headache. Pulsating headache is very common in hypertension. Throbbing headache is very common in space occupying lesion. Spasms, very common in anxiety. If it is very severe, unbearable, it is very common with tumor, raised intracranial pressure, subarachnoid hemorrhage, meningitis, migraine, cluster headache, etc. While mild to moderate is common in tension headache and psychiatric group of disorders. This is a rough diagram showing you the different sites. This is frontal headache. This is also frontal headache but little more area. This will be very common in frontal sinusitis, ethmoidal sinusitis. This is very common in what we call as a tension headache. This is again a bitemporal headache. This is again a bitemporal headache. which is very common in a tension headache. This is cervical headache, which is very common in cervical osteoarthritis. This is a pain. You can see a temporal artery very nicely, very clearly visualized, and you will have a local tenderness here. This will be very common in a temporal arthritis, or we call it a giant cell arthritis. These are some of the area which you can see. Here there is a four classical diagram which are being shown. Sinus headache will be very common in this area. Cluster headache will be unilateral and periorbital, while tension headache will be wide in the area of the frontal as well as in a temporal area. Migraine headache will be unilateral. Usually migraine is unilateral, while tension headache is bilateral, and cluster headache is always strictly unilateral. This is another area which is being shown. If you have got a pain over the temporomandibular joint, it is because of temporomandibular joint. This is a sinusitis area. This is a cluster headache. We already shown you. This is migraine, and this is because of the neck problems, mainly distributed in the occipital region or sometime in the top of the vertex. And tension headache is like squeezing around the crown of the headache. And this is another diagram which you can go through your leisure time. Have a pause and go through this. These are the different causes of headache in different areas. Onset I have already described. If it is in a split second, it is a thunderclap headache, mainly because of a ruptured aneurysm which gives rise to subarachnoid hemorrhage. While migraine headache is usually throughout the day and it is relieved during sleep. While cluster headache, it will start in 3 to 5 minutes, it will last for 45 minutes or so, and gradually it will taper off. This is roughly what we have shown you here. Acute severe headache are usually subarachnoid hemorrhage. Migraine and cluster headaches are most common, while subacute headaches are usually because of expanding tumors like SOL and temporal arthritis. Recurrent headache is quite common with migraine and cluster, and sometime in case of a trigeminal neuralgia and exertional headaches. While chronic headaches are usually tension headaches, migraine headache which becomes a rebound headaches, cervicogenic headache, post-traumatic headache, and atypical facial pains. This is a diagram which shows you that this is a recurrent episodes which is typical of migraine. Tension headache will be usually chronic and long-standing, while migraine plus tension headache combination can have a long-standing with the bouts in between. These are the bouts in between. While cluster headache will come of one single episode, and in between the person will be symptom free. And during that attack, person can have many episodes in one single day. And in a raised intracranial pressure, gradually it will start and will go on increasing over a period of days and months. This is the characteristics of a headache which is being described by a different person, like a throbbing headache, a pain which is like a grip, like a crown over the head, thunderclap headache, pulsating headaches, someone is compressing, etc. Among the aggravating factor, anxiety, lights, we call phonophobia, very typical in case of a migraine. Flexion of the neck will be aggravated in case of meningitis. Partially relieved by sneezing in case of sinusitis. Partially it may be relieved in intracranial pressure by vomiting. If you give ergots and pain is relieved, it is in favor of migraine but not 100%. If you give sedatives and person gets relieved, it is mainly in case of anxiety. If you give triptans and headache is relieved, it is more in favor of migraine. If you give antipyretics and fever is relieved and headache is also relieved, it is in favor of extracranial, we call as a hyperpyrexia. If pain is radiating to a typical area in distribution of trigeminal nerve, it is trigeminal neuralgia. And if headache comes from the neck region and radiate to occipital and to the vertex, it is very common in case of a cervical spine osteoarthritis. Associated symptoms like vomiting, blood vision is very common, and papilledema is quite common in raised intracranial pressure. Fever, convulsions, altered level of consciousness, neck rigidity like Kernick's, Bruggen's sign, in favor of meningitis and in case of encephalitis. If there is no fever, weight loss, no neck signs, vomiting, plus rate intracranial pressure, convulsions, and person is having unconsciousness, it is more in favor of space occupying lesion. These are few of the associated symptoms in associated with headache. It can be right from photophobia, phonophobia, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, motor symptoms, sensory symptom, autonomic symptoms, aura, vertigo, giddiness, local seizures, etc. This good number of causes can be helping to identify some of the conditions. Photophobia, phonophobia is very common in migraine. We call it a primary headache. While sensory symptoms, motor symptoms, local altered level of consciousness, seizures, etc. are very common in secondary headaches. While vertigo, giddiness may be present in case of vertiginous migraine. These are some of the aura is very common in migraine. When you go through the clinical examination, always pulse examination and blood pressure helps to rule out hypertension and hypotension. Examination of the head, particularly tenderness in the fontanelles, separation of fontanelle sutures, bulging of fontanelle sutures, etc. will tell you raised intracranial pressure and probably the evidence of hydrocephalus in a small children. Local swelling, dental tenderness, eye tenderness, ear and sinus tenderness will help you to identify the local pathophysiology. Neck rigidity should be examined with Kernicks and Brudzinski sign to identify the meningeal irritation signs in case of intracranial infections. Carotid artery and temporal artery palpation should be done to rule out temporal artery arthritis. Fundus examination will be helpful to identify raised intracranial pressure plus intracranial hemorrhage, and sometimes even in a case of hypertension you can have hypertensive retinopathy. And examine the temporal muscle spasm, which will be very common in a tension headache. And detailed CNS examination should be done to differentiate primary from secondary, because in secondary there will be localizing sign. This is a classical diagram showing you the papilledema, which tells you that there is a raised intracranial pressure. It can be unilateral, it can be bilateral. Unilateral is very common in a cavernous sinus thrombosis or retinal vein thrombosis, while bilateral is very common in a raised intracranial pressure. This is a diagram which shows you a retinal hemorrhage, can be because of hypertension. Investigations which will be very helpful to rule out secondary from primary, like X-ray skull, epilateral, paranasal sinus, basal view, CT, MRI, and you can combine CT angio or MRI angio. CSF examination to mainly to rule out subarachnoid hemorrhage, intracranial hemorrhage, and meningitis, encephalitis, or infective pathophysiology. EEG will be helpful to rule out mainly epilepsy. Echoencephalography will be helpful to differentiate ventricular shifts or shifts of Fox, and ventriculography mainly to identify hydrocephalus. These are the investigations which will be necessary in case of secondary cause of headache. While in primary, these investigations are not needed, but if there is a doubt, they should be done to rule out the secondary etiology. And particularly if the headaches are chronic, the examinations are normal, no study are required. Now these are some of the investigation which will give you a little idea regarding a different etiologies. This is a lumbar puncture which will help you to rule out what we call as an infective pathophysiology, and EEG to rule out what we call as an epilepsy. This is a diagram which shows you a subarachnoid hemorrhage, CT scan showing you a subarachnoid hemorrhage. This is showing you a brain infarct, that is in a case of a stroke. This is ischemic stroke, and this is ischemic stroke, and this is showing you a hemorrhagic stroke. And this shows you a lesion which is very commonly because of a brain tumor. And this is again, you can see a big tumor. This is again showing you a damaged secondary headache. Now during a management, symptomatic to relieve the headache by analgesics and try to identify whether it is primary or secondary. If it is secondary, treat according to the basic etiology. Secondary headaches, symptomatic treatment and specific treatment for the cause. While in a primary headache, treatment during acute headache, and then you can go for a preventive treatment, mainly medical and non-medical treatment. Complications of headache will depend upon the basic etiology. Here I end the lecture. I hope you will not have a headache at the end of this lecture.